Photographers are like books. They have a lot of information apparently, but whenever they tell you something, you forget it immediately because it was useless. They're often gathered around you and you don't care and you wish they would leave. And they're overdue at the library. So it doesn't mean if 6 of them actually came to me for help, I wouldn't help.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So after 10 years on YouTube, I've realized one thing. If a camera's good enough for Netflix, it's good enough for my living room. We're on the Canon C70 with the Laowa 15mm Tony-5. I'm going to switch out 6 different lenses today to answer each hobo. We're starting on the worst lens possible. Looks like a GoPro 6 if it was a 4th. I wanted to start vlogging plus adventure, so I was thinking with an action camera, because I can do vlogging and also go underwater and adventure stuff on my travels. You recommend Action 5 Pro or Ace Pro 2? This question fits with this lens because it looks like an Action 5. AI has your answer, by the way. It depends how deep you want to go. How deep could you even go? I plan to go 40 meters under the water on one breath. You're a loser. I think we need to stop obsessing over the minute details of these different companies. Everything works fine. Back up to like 4 years ago, the Action 4 is your answer. Plenty good. The Sony X3000 is your real answer, although it's not very waterproof. Don't get it. I would do Action 4 probably. I don't know. The Ace 5 Pro is like, it's not much different. It often looks worse anyway. It's more money. Who cares? Ace Pro is disgusting face tones, and you're never in focus on any of them anyway, so like who cares? Like, oh, what has the best skin tone? Nothing is sharp. Now, goodbye, little cookie lens. It's time for a real lens to sexually mount you. We are now speed boosting a Voigtlander 20mm Tony 3.5. An angry photographer recommendation. I've been trying to sell it for about 7 years. Not one person is interested in this lens. I don't understand why. It's the most glorious landscape photographer lens you could ever get, probably. It's beautiful. I don't need it. I have the 24mm 1.4, which we're switching to next. No one wants this. I paid $650. I've listed it for $280, and no one's like, better jump on that deal. And we're on the Canon Speed Booster, which I don't know what the crop factor is of the C70. Is it 1.5? I can't find it online. Only AI gave me some fake-ass summarization like, oh, in 4K it's this, and zero accuracy on that. Canon's website doesn't say it. God only knows, so it's almost full frame. Good morning, Sir Conspiracy. I'm fairly new to the camera community and currently only have a 50mm prime. I've realized that I need a weirder focal length for the work I do, and I was considering the Zeiss Batis 25mm, and since you have a hands-on experience with the said lens, still worth it. Purchases similar, Viltrox, Sigma, reference, dance, shoot. I love that lens. I didn't just sell it. I would never abandon Sony. It's the best lens in that focal length for E-mount. You have the 24mm 1.4 G Master. Oh, it's faster. It's the better lens, right? Sharper. Look, side by side, it's sharper. Go watch any side-by-side comparison. Jason Vong did a video many years ago, and I was like, why do I prefer the Batis images always? They're just warmer, pleasinger. I almost said softer. The lens that destroys that lens is a Canon lens. Unfortunately for you, you're not going to find an autofocusing adapter that actually works. So it's like, in that universe, like Sigma, super sharp, I would 100% go with the Batis if that was my focal length. And it was when I'm on Sony, but I've realized I don't need it. I have 24mm on much better cameras to film my face. I don't need Sony screen tones. I meant green and skin. Now we are on the Netflix pinnacle of creation in a living room near you. You could not beat this thing. It's stupid expensive for what you're getting. Talking head thing, just get the Canon G7X. I promise you, you'll be just as happy. 24mm 1.4, speed boosted on a cinema cam. Stupidness. This is probably my go-to setup now. Why even have the Nikon? I'm throwing it. So far, Canon autofocus has been quite impressive. It's not doing weird things where I turn my head and it loses my ass. Hopefully it's better than Fuji. Nice to hear that your favorite is the old Canon EF 24mm Mark 1. That's what we're on. Because Mark II got worse. That's interesting. In what way? Oh, he's quoting me. You son of a bitch. In what way is the Mark II worse than the old Mark I in your experience? Mr. pretends to have experience. Take my opinion with a grain of milk. But when I wanted this lens, I was doing a bunch of research, and you would think the Mark II, every review says, oh, this is sharper, more contrasty, better flare control. And I'm like, let me do a little research myself and look at the actual photos they produce in Flickr. And so I researched both, and I always liked the Mark I images. And then you look up and it's like less elements, less coating, no ED glass. I should have looked this up. The most annoying thing is recording raw video footage and then realizing you have to look up something spec-wise and it's going to take 10 minutes, but you're not going to stop the recording. This lens has 11 elements. The Mark II has 13. This has one ED element. That one has some. So it could be 2, it could be 7. So it's just gonna have less pop, in my opinion, and there's no reason. It's more expensive. I think it might have weather sealing as well. If you just want the look, the best look, softness for the face, I don't need the extra contrasty bite. This is the better lens, and it's cheaper. So I always go for the Mark I in any EF glass. I think the 85mm, because I've always been saying, like, just get the Mark I, and then some guy was like, you idiot, the 85 Mark II, like, they didn't change the formula, it's the same, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, sometimes I don't, okay? That one, but it has different coatings, anti-3D pop coatings. No thank you on my lens. What's the point of risking it? The Mark I is fantastic, it's super sharp. Why do you need the Mark II of anything? You could only spend more to get less. I don't mean to alarm you, but we're on a Russian lens. Netflix, unapproved, but the match made in heaven is ours. Helios 44-2. 58mm Tony to the stalker lens. And I'm sorry, my friend. He watched the video and he's like, oh God, I feel so stupid. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. It was just a funny story of the events from my perspective. I love how Canon lets you punch in and it's black and white and I can see the peaking and you know you're in focus while recording. By the way, Nikon, that's not letting me do that. Thanks for nothing. Hey Casey, I need a good camera for talking head videos. My wife would also like the camera to be good at stuff like wedding photos and real estate photos. Yeah, okay. Let's just do all that with one cheap budget camera. And can it shoot cinema films as well as dive deep under water to film that first vlogger? I'm torn between the ZVE10. Wow, he's gonna do a wedding with that. For 600 or Panasonic G9. Whoa. Oh boy. Oh. How's the autofocus? Was it good? Or the Canon R50 at 550. Oh man, I need to know which lens as well. Yeah, you would. It's like saying, I want to race my friends. I need the car, but I also want to drive across the country. It has to be amazing on gas and just the best mileage ever. We're also moving, so it has to be huge. And I need to be able to move our entire house and all the furniture with it. What would you recommend? I'd recommend you get a real aspiration. I made a video a long time ago called like ZVE10 destroys everything I own or something, and I used all my nice lenses on it. Steinbeck gave us that camera and I totally kept it. Still, it's somewhere close by to my heart always. The thing, it looked beautiful, like of course. So you want talking head? Between those, like Panasonic G9 is going to be out of focus all the time. Like get real with yourself, don't even look at them. Canon R50 could look nice. I don't know, the ZVE10 is going to be way more capable. It's not going to lose you when you turn your head once. I think that type of dual pixel in Canon's cheaper cameras is just wrong. Bad and ill-intended for you. Most people that get the ZVE10 go with the Sigma 16mm 1.4. So like we were on the 24mm, that's what that's gonna look like. Rough focal length, you can be pretty close to the camera. It's not very flattering for the face, but that's what YouTubers do. We don't care being goofy, and I don't care if you stretch my nose out. if you want to back up like this is like 58 mil. It becomes very hard and annoying, and you gotta like, okay, my mic has to come with me, the light. If it was me, I would do something like the budget Zeiss 35mm 2.8. Then it will autofocus on you. That's roughly 50 equiv. That's a portrait type of thing. And you could get some shots for the wedding. I don't know, man. Like, your budget was low. I found that for like 200 something Canadian, so you could find it cheap. Other than that, I don't know, man. I'm not recommending a non-Zeiss lens for Sony. Gross. But if you're doing a wedding with the ZV-E10, you should be arrested. You should be thrown in prison. Not for like a long time, but at least overnight. Learn your lesson. The Zeiss 55 1.8, that'll give you like an 80-something equiv. There's your all-in-one lens. That'll do everything. It's just, you gotta really back up a notch. I'm about to do it. I forgot to turn on that light. Things could have looked so magical. No one cares. I moved. Even though I somehow managed to keep the framing, you're way over there now. You used to be direct in front, but through the rule of angles, it's still a movie. We're on the Canon EF 85mm 1.2 Mark I, of course, and it's too beautiful for our own good. And your question is, would the C100 give better cinematic image than my Canon R6 II with C-Log 3? It's a debate. There's not a lot you would gain. I bet you the R6 II is slightly like too sharp and clinical, and the C100, it was a beautiful image. I had it for a while, and I didn't see the point of it because I was stuck in this box, whereas now, I can be anywhere. I can move, I can dance. Once I got the Fringer adapter that allowed these Canon EF lenses on my Nikon Z6 III, I was like, I do not need this C100, even though some of you preferred it in that side-by-side, but you're monkey morons. You don't know what you're looking at. You can't even taste the right level of acidity in a cup of soup. You have no tongue. And yes, I'm standing on my tippy toes. I would have been this short in the shot, and I'm too lazy to walk over there and just tilt the camera down a bit, so I have to spend the next 8 minutes standing up like this. And it can be done due to the monkey strength gains I've made in the calf area. Would you be okay with it? You shouldn't get it. You sound like you already have the R6 II, and you're gonna downgrade or sideways crab step your way to an R6 C100. Reality is, you're not going to see much of a difference. If anything, it'll look much worse and cheaper. You're like, oh wow, it's only 1080p. This sucks. Oh man, I can only focus on this tiny box. Why didn't you tell me all this? I'm telling you now. Run for your life. It's not a good camera, but it looks fantastic, and it's hilarious that it could still compete today, side by side. You're seeing that thing. It looks better, doesn't it? I don't know why. Don't even know why. But there's something about Canon cinema cams where it's like they didn't cripple hammer the damn thing. They just let you do video. And now I can punch in and I can see peaking and zebras at the same time. And things are great. It's easy to use. This one, at least, not yours. Your bullshit C100. Like, good luck. I mean, I found one for $850 Canadian. If you can find one cheaper, it's kind of fun. But it's like, it's heavy and it's big and it's like not worth it. It's worse than most things, but it's funny that it competes. And now it is time for the boss battle. The one lens I've been saying is the dumbest lens. Any RF lens, there's not one with pop, so I think. Let's see for ourselves. Why, hello to you, RF lens. Look at you. I want to compare these and show you, like, the EF85 will be superior, but I would need the regular adapter, or else one will be cropped. This one's like 127mm versus 85. I'll still do it. You know I will, but will we learn a damn thing? Likely not. 85mm Tony 2. Wait for it. It's silent, at least. Final question. What do you think of Voigtlander 29mm 0.8 if you went back to Micro Four Thirds? I never would. That lens, I've looked at it. When the G9 II came out, I was thinking, oh, that'd be fun. Phase detect, and then this manual focus, why would that combo work? It wouldn't. But I was like, I looked at the flicker images and that thing has some pop. It's a magical lens, but it's so expensive and heavy. It's like 2,500 Canadian or something. I don't even know what that is in US dollars. That's 500 cookies. But for me, like, I would be doing it for this, buying that expensive of a lens, and then it would be the most annoying thing trying to manual focus. That's like a 60 mil 1.6. It's not even that impressive of a lens. Like, you get an autofocusing 50 mil 1.2 and then you're laughing at yourself every video. Whereas that, God help us. I had the 25 mil 0.95. That would be even worse. That was annoying. I resorted to the X3000 indoors vlogging. I was like, I can't even deal with this anymore. I sold off almost every manual focus lens. The only ones that haven't sold yet are the ones that haven't sold yet for some reason, because no one else wants to buy my bullshit. So it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. So it's not, I'm not looking at Voigtlander, even though their rendering is so amazing. It's not worth it. The versatility, you couldn't do anything fun with that lens other than film yourself and be mad that you chose that lens. And then your video is full of anger and rage, unlike mine, ever. So who won the battle today, my friend? We started out on the Laowa 15mm Tony 5, a disgusting GoPro lens for the cinema cam. And then we punched into something a little more dignified, a Voigtlander 20mm 3.5. I'm not trying to sell it. I never would sell that. But then the real hero, the 24mm 1.4, most versatile lens you could ever get, pretty much for YouTube stuff. That's a glory piece. And then manual focus hell with the stalker lens. And then you're in focus sometimes you're not. That's up to you. And then we switched to my favorite lens, the 85mm 1.2, Mark I of course, and that was glorious in its own right, because all of these have been speed boosted except the Laowa, and then we made it to this, not speed boosted, direct on there. And is that a thing? Cycling through the face changes very rapidly. Oh, he went from an ugly duckling to a boy that somewhat could get a job as a janitor in a hotel near you. That's a guy I'd hire, wouldn't ya? So we'll see. I'll do a proper comparison of this versus the 85 somehow outdoors. And you wait for that. Don't listen to these audio mistakes. This is how you do autofocus tests. Just grab your light with you, bring it. Oh God, okay. Done. It's with us. You're welcome, by the way. Which lens did you prefer today? Affiliate links for Bitcoin donations are available. Somehow. That's a new thing. Invented here first. Subscribe for more videos, Annex.